The phone rang at 2 a.m., shattering the fragile peace of Faith's apartment in downtown Chicago. Her sister's voice, hoarse and desperate from the hospital bed, echoed through the line. "Promise me you'll take care of Emily. She's only 17, Faith. Don't let her go to Dad." But Faith's heart clenched with a familiar dread and she whispered, "I can't," before the line went dead. Her sister gone forever in a car crash that night. Faith stared at the ceiling, her mind a whirlwind of guilt and defiance. "Why me?" she thought, the words looping like a mantra. "I'm barely holding my own life together." Taylor slept beside her, oblivious to the call, her arm draped possessively over Faith's waist. Their relationship was a secret sanctuary, hidden from Faith's conservative family in the suburbs, where being a lesbian meant exile or worse. Faith had built walls around her heart after coming out in college, only to be met with her father's cold silence and her mother's tearful pleas to pray it away. Now, with her sister Amanda dead, the responsibility of raising Emily fell like a boulder on her chest. But Faith couldn't do it. Not when her life with Taylor was still so precarious, balanced on the edge of discovery and rejection. The next morning Taylor stirred, her eyes softening as she saw Faith's pale face. "What happened?" she asked, pulling Faith into an embrace. Faith recounted the call, the accident, the plea. Taylor's brow furrowed. "Your niece? Faith, you have to help her. Family is family." But Faith shook her head, her inner voice screaming objections. "Family? The same family that disowned me for loving you?" Emily was Amanda's spitting image. Straight-A student, church volunteer. The perfect daughter Amanda had molded in their parents' image. Taking her in would mean exposing everything. The apartment they shared, the photos of their trips, the quiet intimacy that defined them. "I can't risk it," Faith said aloud, her voice trembling. "She'd hate me if she knew. And Dad would fight for custody anyway." Taylor sighed, her own past flashing in her mind. She had come from a liberal family in New York, where her sexuality was celebrated. But she understood Faith's fears. "What if she needs you more than you think?" Taylor pressed, but Faith turned away, burying the doubt. Inside she wrestled with the moral weight. Am I selfish? Or am I protecting what little happiness I've carved out? The funeral loomed in 3 days, and Faith dreaded the confrontation. At the service in the small Methodist church outside the city, Faith stood rigid beside Taylor, who had come as a friend. Her father, Robert, gripped her arm tightly. "Amanda wanted you to take Emily," he said gruffly, his eyes avoiding hers. "But I won't allow it. Not with your lifestyle." The word dripped with disdain, confirming Faith's fears. Emily sat in the front pew, her shoulders hunched, tears silent. She looked up at Faith once, her eyes pleading, but Faith averted her gaze. "I can't," she repeated inwardly. "You'll be better off with Grandpa. He has the house, the stability. What do I have? A job as a graphic designer, bills piling up, and a love I can't even claim publicly?" After the burial, Emily approached Faith in the parking lot. "Aunt Faith, please," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Mom said you'd understand me." Faith's heart twisted, but she steeled herself.
"I'm sorry, Em.
"I just can't." The girl's face crumpled and she turned away, climbing into Robert's car. Taylor watched from afar, her expression a mix of disappointment and empathy. "You might regret this," she murmured as they drove home. Faith nodded, but inside the decision gnawed at her. Was this the right choice? Or had she just betrayed the only family tie that might have redeemed her? Days turned into weeks and Faith threw herself into work, designing logos for progressive brands that championed LGBTQ rights. Ironic, given her own closeted existence with her family. Taylor tried to bridge the gap, suggesting they reach out to Emily, but Faith resisted. "She's fine with Dad. He texted that she's settling in." But late at night, Faith's mind raced. What if Amanda was right? What if Emily needs someone who understands the shadows? Faith remembered her own teen years, hiding crushes on girls, pretending for her parents' sake. The pressure had nearly broken her. One evening, a knock at the door startled them. Taylor opened it to find Emily standing there, backpack slung over her shoulder, eyes red from crying. "I ran away," she said, her voice barely audible. "Grandpa found out. About me." Faith froze in the kitchen, her pulse thundering. "Found out what?" Emily collapsed on the couch, sobbing. "I'm gay, Aunt Faith. Like you. Mom knew but she told me to hide it. Grandpa saw my text to my girlfriend and flipped out. He said he'd send me to conversion therapy. The revelation hit Faith like a storm. Hiding her identity. That's what Amanda meant. Emily wasn't the perfect straight girl. She was just like Faith, trapped in the same web of fear and shame. Taylor shot Faith a look that said, "See? Now what?" Faith's mind spun with conflicting emotions. Guilt for refusing her, anger at her father, and a budding protectiveness. But taking her in meant war with family, with society, with her own doubts. Could she do this? The decision loomed, heavier than ever. As Emily slept on the couch that night, Faith paced the bedroom. Taylor sat on the bed watching her. "This changes everything," Taylor said softly. "She needs us." Faith nodded, but inside the turmoil raged. "If I take her in, Dad will cut me off completely. The community will whisper. But if I send her back, am I condemning her to the same hell I escaped?" The moral quandary tore at her. Faith had always prided herself on her independence, but this was a test of her ethics. By morning she made a tentative choice. Emily could stay for now. But the real battles were just beginning. Emily's presence in the apartment shifted everything, like a fault line cracking open beneath their feet. Faith watched her niece unpack her few belongings, her movements hesitant, as if expecting rejection at any moment. Inside, Faith grappled with the irony. Here was a mirror of her younger self, yet she had almost turned her away. Taylor, ever the optimist, made breakfast, chatting lightly about school and hobbies, but Faith could see the tension in Emily's posture. "What have I done?" Faith wondered. "Am I ready to be the guardian I never had?" That afternoon, Faith called her father. "Emily's with me," she said flatly. Robert's response was explosive. "You have no right. Bring her back or I'll involve the courts. You think you can raise her in that sinful environment?" The word sinful echoed in Faith's mind, stirring old wounds. She hung up, her hands shaking. Taylor hugged her from behind. "We're in this together," she whispered. But Faith's thoughts darkened. Together? What if this tears us apart? Their relationship had been a quiet haven. Now it was thrust into the spotlight. Emily opened up slowly over dinner. "My girlfriend's name is Sarah," she confessed, her cheeks flushing. "We've been together 6 months, but secretly. Grandpa found our messages and called me disgusting." Faith's heart ached with recognition. "I know that pain," she admitted. "Your mom protected you as best she could." But inwardly, Faith questioned her own role. Was Amanda's plea a trap, forcing me to confront what I've buried? Emily's vulnerability stirred something protective in Faith, but also fear. Raising a teen meant sacrifices, time, money, emotional energy she wasn't sure she had. The next day, Faith took Emily to enroll in a new school, a public one in the city with the GSA club. As they filled out forms, the administrator asked about guardianship. "Temporary," Faith said, but the word felt like a lie. Inside, she debated the ethics. Am I doing this for Emily or to assuage my guilt? Taylor encouraged her, but Faith sensed strain. "This is a lot," Taylor admitted later. "But it's the right thing." Faith nodded, but doubt lingered. What if Emily's drama exposes us too much? Their neighbors were tolerant, but Faith's job involved conservative clients who might balk. A week in, the first confrontation came. Robert showed up unannounced, pounding on the door. "Emily, get your things," he bellowed. Emily hid in the bedroom, terrified. Faith stood firm, Taylor by her side. "She's staying here, Dad, where she can be herself." Robert's face reddened. "Herself? You mean like you, ruining your life with that woman?" He pointed at Taylor, who flinched but held her ground. The words cut deep, reminding Faith of the price she'd paid for authenticity. Inside, she screamed, "Why can't you accept us?" But aloud she said, "Leave or I'll call the police." He stormed off, vowing legal action. That night, Faith's mind raced with what-ifs. If he sues for custody, what then? Emily's secret would be dragged into court, her life dissected. Faith imagined the headlines. Lesbian aunt fights for gay niece in conservative family battle. The societal pressure weighed heavy, the judgment from extended family, the whispers at church gatherings she no longer attended. Taylor tried to soothe her. "We'll fight it. Together." But Faith wondered if Taylor understood the depth of the betrayal. My own father choosing hate over love. Emily's girlfriend Sarah came over the next weekend. A shy girl with braces and a backpack full of books. Watching them hold hands tentatively, Faith felt a pang of envy for their youthful hope. Be careful, she advised. Not everyone understands. Emily nodded but later confided. Sarah's parents are cool but mine. Well, Mom was but now. The unfinished sentence hung. A reminder of loss. Faith's internal conflict intensified. By helping Emily, am I reliving my trauma, or healing it? As days passed, small betrayals emerged. Faith overheard Emily on the phone with a cousin, downplaying her living situation. Aunt Faith is just helping out. Nothing weird. The word stung. Nothing weird meaning hiding the truth about Faith and Taylor. Is she ashamed? Faith pondered. Or just protecting herself? The moral ambiguity gnawed. Should I force openness, or let her navigate her own path? Taylor noticed Faith's withdrawal. Talk to me, she urged. Faith confessed her fears. What if this ruins us? The stress, the fights. Taylor's eyes filled with hurt. Is that what you think? That I'd leave. The tension escalated into their first real argument. You're the one who refused her at first, Taylor accused. Now you're second-guessing everything. Faith retreated, her mind a storm. She's right. My indecision is the real betrayal. By the end of the month, a lawyer's letter arrived. Robert was petitioning for guardianship, citing Faith's unstable lifestyle. The words burned. Faith stared at it, realizing the battle lines were drawn. Emily's secret was out in the family now, fueling the fire. Inside, Faith resolved, I won't let him win. But the cost, the emotional toll, the potential loss loomed large. Was this the awakening she needed? Or the destruction she feared? The court date loomed like a shadow over their lives, turning everyday moments into minefields of anxiety. Faith pored over legal documents at the kitchen table, her eyes burning from lack of sleep. Emily hovered nearby, guilt etched on her face. This is my fault, she murmured. Faith shook her head, but inwardly agreed partially. If you hadn't run away, maybe. But no, that was unfair. The real fault lay in the prejudices that forced secrets in the first place. Taylor took on more, cooking meals and driving Emily to school, but the strain showed in her shortened temper. We need to present a united front, she said, preparing affidavits about their stable home. Faith nodded, but her thoughts betrayed her. Stable? With my family tearing us down? The lawyer, a sharp woman from an LGBTQ advocacy group, warned them. Your relationship will be scrutinized. Be prepared for ugly questions. Faith's stomach churned at the thought of her love for Taylor being dissected as evidence of unfitness. During a prep session, the lawyer asked Emily about her preferences. I want to stay with Aunt Faith, she said firmly. She gets me. But later, alone with Faith, Emily confessed doubts. What if the judge sides with Grandpa? He'll make me go to that camp. Conversion therapy. The phrase sent chills through Faith. She remembered horror stories from friends, the psychological scars. I can't let that happen, she vowed internally. But the ethical dilemma pressed. By fighting, am I dragging Emily through more trauma? Family rifts deepened. Faith's mother called, voice quivering. Why are you doing this? Emily needs a normal home. Normal, the word was a dagger. Mom, normal is love, not hate, Faith replied, hanging up. Inside, the pain surged. Why can't they see us as human? Taylor comforted her, but Faith sensed a growing distance. You're shutting me out, Taylor said one night. Faith admitted, I'm scared. If we lose, it'll be because of us, our love. The admission hung heavy, a potential crack in their foundation. Emily's school life added layers. She joined the GSA finding friends, but bullying followed. Some kids heard about the court thing, she told Faith. They call me names. Faith's protective instinct flared. She met with the principal, demanding action but inwardly questioned, am I equipped for this? Parenting meant advocacy, something she'd never imagined. Taylor praised her, but Faith felt like an imposter. A betrayal struck when a cousin leaked details to a local conservative blog. The post went viral in their small community. Lesbian couple seeks to corrupt teen in custody battle. Comments flooded in, vicious and anonymous. Faith read them obsessively, each one a blow. Disgusting perverts, one said. Keep the kid away. Taylor urged her to stop. It's noise. But to Faith it was confirmation of societal disdain. How can I subject Emily to this? She agonized. The moral choice twisted. Fight and risk exposure? Or concede and betray Emily's trust? In court, the first hearing was brutal. Robert testified, painting Faith as irresponsible, citing her deviant choices. The judge, an older man, listened impassively. Emily's turn came. She spoke bravely about her identity, her need for acceptance. Faith watched, pride mixing with terror. This girl is stronger than I was. But when the lawyer asked about Faith's relationship, Taylor shifted uncomfortably. It's loving and committed, Faith stated. Inside, she wondered if it would survive the scrutiny. Post-hearing, tension boiled over. Taylor confronted Faith. You act like our love is a liability. Faith snapped back. In this world it is. The argument escalated, words like weapons. Maybe you regret us, Taylor said, tears flowing. Faith's heart broke. No, I regret the world that makes us fight for basics. They reconciled in silence, but the damage lingered. Emily's girlfriend Sarah became a support, but introduced new conflicts. Sarah's parents, accepting, offered help, making Faith envious. Why can't my family be like that? Emily asked. Faith had no answer, only internal turmoil. Am I failing her by not being enough? A late-night talk revealed more. Emily had considered running away again. But I trust you, she said. The weight of that trust pressed on Faith. As the final decision neared, Faith reflected on her journey. From refusal to reluctant guardian, the awakening had been painful. But doubts persisted. Was uncovering Emily's secret a blessing or a curse? The societal pressures, family betrayals, personal sacrifices. All for what? Taylor held her hand. Whatever happens, we choose love. Faith nodded, but inside the question burned. At what cost? The waiting period before the judge's ruling stretched like an eternity, each day laced with anticipation and dread. Faith found herself replaying every moment in court, questioning her decisions. Had I been too defensive? Too emotional? Emily tried to stay positive, focusing on school projects, but Faith saw the shadows under her eyes. Taylor, sensing the strain, suggested a weekend getaway, but Faith declined. How can I relax when everything hangs in the balance? Family interference escalated. Robert sent letters to Emily, pleading for her return, promising change. I'll accept you, one read. Emily showed it to Faith, torn. Do you think he means it? Faith's got twisted. No, it's manipulation. But aloud she said, that's your call. Inside, the ethical bind tightened. Encourage reconciliation or protect from false hope. Emily crumpled the letter, choosing Faith, but the doubt seeded. Societal backlash intensified. At work, a client pulled a contract after reading the blog post. We can't associate with controversy, they said. Faith's boss sympathized but warned of more. The financial hit stung, forcing overtime. Taylor offered to cover bills, but Faith refused. I won't burden you. Taylor's frustration grew. It's not a burden, it's partnership. The argument revealed deeper fissures. Faith's fear of dependency, rooted in her family's conditional love. A turning point came when Emily's ex-friend from her old school spread rumors online, outing her fully. Emily broke down, sobbing in Faith's arms. Everyone hates me now. Faith held her, rage boiling. This is the price of authenticity in a judgmental world. She contacted the school, demanding intervention, but felt powerless. That night, Taylor suggested therapy for Emily. And for us, she added. Faith agreed but inwardly resisted. Admitting we need help feels like failure. The therapist sessions unearthed raw emotions. Emily spoke of grief for her mother, fear of rejection. Faith shared her own story, the parallels striking. I hid for years, she admitted. The therapist probed. And now? Faith hesitated. Now I'm forced to confront it all. Taylor's session revealed her own insecurities. I feel like a side character in this drama. The revelation hit Faith hard. Am I neglecting her? The moral quandary. Balance family duty with romantic commitment. Betrayal struck from an unexpected source. Faith's mother visited, tears in her eyes. I support your father, but I miss you. The conversation turned manipulative. Give Emily back and maybe we can reconcile. Faith saw through it, but the longing for maternal acceptance ached. "No," she said firmly. "Inside the damage. Why must love be conditional?" As the ruling approached, Faith made a bold move. She came out publicly on social media, sharing their story to garner support. Allies rallied, friends, LGBTQ groups, but trolls attacked. Taylor worried this could backfire. It did, when Robert used it in a motion-claiming publicity stunt. Faith's resolve wavered. Was this hubris, or necessary defiance? In a quiet moment, Emily thanked Faith. "You saved me." The words warmed, but Faith pondered the cost. Strained relationship with Taylor, financial stress, emotional exhaustion. The awakening was bittersweet, realizing her own strength, but at what price? The day before the hearing, Taylor and Faith had a heart-to-heart. "I love you, but this has tested us," Taylor said. Faith nodded, tears falling. "I wouldn't change it." They recommitted, but Faith wondered, can love survive such trials? The courtroom buzzed with tension as the judge entered, his decision sealed in an envelope. Faith gripped Taylor's hand under the table, Emily on her other side, pale but determined. Robert sat across, his face a mask of righteous anger. As the judge read the ruling, granting Faith temporary guardianship with conditions for counseling and review, relief washed over Faith, mingled with trepidation. "We've won, but the war isn't over." Back home, celebrations were muted. Emily hugged them both. "Thank you." But Faith's mind raced. Now the real work begins. Robert's appeal loomed, and societal eyes remained watchful. Taylor poured wine, toasting to new beginnings, but Faith sensed underlying fatigue. "We did it," Taylor said. Faith smiled, but inside questioned. At what sacrifice? Adjusting to the new normal brought fresh challenges. Emily thrived in therapy, opening up about her identity, but family holidays were boycotted. Faith's mother sent a card. "Praying for you." The passive aggression stung. Faith debated responding, her ethics torn. Forgive or protect boundaries? She chose silence, but the void hurt. Taylor's patience wore thin with the constant drama. "When do we get our life back?" she asked one evening. Faith felt the sting of ingratitude. "This is our life now." The argument flared, revealing resentments. "I didn't sign up for this," Taylor confessed. Faith's heart sank. "Is she regretting us?" They slept apart that night, Faith's thoughts churning. Love demands sacrifice, but how much before it breaks? A climax came when Emily's grandfather attempted a surprise visit, demanding to see her. "You're poisoning her," he shouted. Emily stood tall. "No, you're the one who can't accept me." Faith intervened, calling authorities. The incident solidified her role, but exhausted her. Inside, the moral reflection. Was refusing her initially the ultimate betrayal, or a necessary self-preservation? As months passed, bonds strengthened. Emily and Sarah grew closer with Faith's guidance. Taylor and Faith sought couples counseling, rebuilding trust. But scars remained. The family estrangement, the public scrutiny. Faith pondered the trade-offs. Freedom for Emily at the cost of her own peace. One evening, watching Emily laugh with friends, Faith felt a profound shift. This was worth it. The awakening to her capacity for love beyond self changed her. Yet doubts lingered in quiet moments. Did I choose correctly, or invite unnecessary pain? In the end, as they sat together, Faith realized the journey's true lesson. Identity hidden breeds suffering, but revealed demands courage and sacrifice. Taylor squeezed her hand, a silent promise. Emily smiled, unaware of the depths.